This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
There's a tear in your eyes, I know, I can feel that it's
Good day, Philippines. This is Dr. Cenica for What's Up, Doc. Today we have a very good topic because it's a Mother's Day tomorrow. And before anything, I would like to introduce to you my co-host, no other than Attorney Cynthia Bajamunde. Good afternoon and good day, Attorney. And yes, happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to all mothers in the world. Especially to my nanay who is now in heaven. Happy Mother's Day, nanay.
Happy Mother's Day, Nanay. And also my mom who is also sitting beside the Lord. And happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Well,
the
I
best
hope-
mother in the world.
Well, I hope your mom and my nanay will meet and we'll talk about the two of us.
They're gonna dance hula in
And
in
sing,
heaven.
yeah.
Yes. And of course, if you have any question regarding our topic all about mother's love or love of a mother, and we can text us at 0925-8520815. It's right there in your screen. And please indicate your name and your location where you are at right now. And we'll try our very best to answer your question live here in Global News Network. And I'm very excited to introduce our guest. And our guest is a managing director of ConsultAsia Global, and it's a training development consulting firm and academy. Also graduating in Oxford University
with honors.
with honors. No other than Miss Tinette Cortez. Good afternoon, Tinette.
Good afternoon, Doctor. Good afternoon,
Good
attorney.
afternoon.
Yes, I know we have a lot of things to discuss about being a mother or
Motherhood.
So, meron kang question kanina, how you define
Yeah.
motherhood.
I'd like to ask you what is your definition of motherhood?
For motherhood, it's basically just being selfish and going beyond yourself. I mean, whether you have children or not,
Being selfless, yeah.
you can, being selfless, that's already motherhood. Whether
Yeah.
you're a mother to your own children or a mother to other people's children.
So it doesn't mean to become that you have your own biological child
Not
of being a
necessarily.
motherhood.
Not necessarily.
So being
because-
acting like a mother.
like a mother, being selfless, basically.
Now, how do you balance that? Of course, motherhood, you need like balance of love and discipline. How do you do that at home?
Balancing between love and discipline. Well, first of all, I don't consider both aspects as separate from each other. For you to be
is it
able,
not conflicting, yung love and discipline? Sometimes, when you discipline a child, sometimes their interpretation is that hindi ako mahal ng nanay ko kasi pinapagalitan ako.
Yeah.
Or how do you do that?
well, for me, discipline is part of loving somebody. Like especially my child, my daughter. I have a 14-year-old daughter, and I make sure that her well-being is put first, her future. If I don't discipline her, obviously, I'm setting her up for failure. So I want to make sure that she lives a very healthy and successful life.
Yeah.
So discipline is part of it.
Now, attorney.
But do you believe that there is really no hard and fast rule as regards raising up children?
I think each parent would have his or her own style of parenting, and each child is different. In fact, some parents who have more than one child have different parenting styles for different personalities.
Yes, because the children have different personalities.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I can't really say that my style is the best style, but it's actually what works for me, and I'm happy with the results.
Yeah.
And in motherhood or in parenting, you also have to consider the peer group of your children and the environment.
Exactly. Yes.
That's the behavior and as you have said, the love and discipline is not really far away from each other. So when you say discipline, the technique of putting up discipline in your child is somewhat related. It depends upon the behavior also of your child. Is that right?
So when
Yeah.
I discipline, so my daughter's name is Sofia, and when I discipline Sofia, I make sure that I don't punish her for being a certain kind of person, but rather I practice discipline to change a certain kind of behavior. So for example, if she's staying too long in her iPad or her iPhone, then that's the behavior that I want to change. So I don't necessarily...
I want to give discussion, emphasis on that, because there's a lot of children, even though as young as 2 or 3 years old, they started to play the iPad and or the tablet, and as old as 57 years old, they start playing the tablet also. How do you manage that? Because right now, even there's a toy store right now that closes. It's because the tablet is very interactive, or the iPad is very interactive.
And it's everything for the children.
Yeah, you don't
now.
need a toy for that.
Right.
And how will you comment on that?
Okay.
This generation X.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is a very sensitive issue because again, there are several factors that we need to take into consideration. Like for example, if it's being used for education, because like in her school, they are required to use their gadgets to do research or to interact with each other when they have projects
But
together.
how can you determine whether your child is really studying when they use their iPad
Okay,
or the
this
tablet?
this is again a very interesting question because we go a long way. I mean, Sofia and I have gone a long way. We started when she was very young. We have already instilled trust in each other. I mean, even when she was very, very young, like as young as 2 years old, I made sure that I taught her the value of trust. Going back to attorney's question, how will I be sure that she's actually using
Trust
it for
is
the
very
right
important.
right purpose? Well, there's really no way for you to know because you can't be there.
You cannot just monitor them.
No, you can't be there 24/7 watching her activity. But I am sure that she is not doing anything bad because I would know, and I wouldn't take the risk of putting her in that situation where she's always stuck with the gadgets.
Yeah.
She's very open. We have a very open
Communication.
Our communication lines are very open with each other. She can tell me anything. I can tell her anything. So I know what her activities are, both online and offline.
Do you give her schedule on what to do? This is your time to study. This is your time to play and to go out of the house.
Yeah. When she was younger, when she was just in preschool till about maybe 4th grade. No, maybe even younger, probably 3rd grade.
Yeah.
Yes, I used to give her some sort of a schedule, a routine, and I would be right there literally dictating what she needs to do at a certain time. But now, no more. You'd be surprised. She manages her own time. She knows exactly what she needs to do after school, on weekends. So I'm quite pleased because I think I pretty much was able to instill in her, again, the value of time and time management.
So you mean to say that you have to start disciplining or giving schedule to your children at a very young age so that
Yes.
by the time that they reach their teenage life, they're already trained. Is that correct?
Exactly, attorney. Because I remember when Sofia was very young, in the morning, when she wakes up, she already knows that she first needs to fix her bed. She has to tidy up her bed. I mean, on her own. And she was like very young, like 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah. Discipline was such a very broad term. Do you think discipline is a connection or disconnection between a child and a parent?
It's okay. Again, depending on how you are implementing it or executing it. In my case, I want it to be a form of connection with us, between the two of us. Disciplining, I never discipline her without hugging her after.
Oh,
So for example,
that's so sweet.
example, I take away something. For example, she does something not very pleasant to my eye. Then I would sit down with her and tell her, you know what, Sofia, I'm quite disappointed with how you behaved earlier.
So you have to tell it right away.
I have to tell her right away, right on the spot, without putting any delay, because again, it won't be as effective anymore. So, and I would never get physical with her. I would never slap her
It's very important.
or hurt her.
But what can you say about other parents who instill discipline by by doing some physical harm? What
Yeah.
can you say about that?
I'm trying to put myself in their shoes, and probably it's out of frustration, probably out of anger, out of disappointment, and sometimes they couldn't think of any other way to show their concern,
Right.
except through physical
Yeah.
harm on the child.
That's
But
true.
my take on that is, it won't be as effective if you keep doing it. You know what I mean? Like if you
Okay.
keep doing it and spanking your child, all the child would remember is, oh, mom's spanking me all the time anyway, so I don't care.
Yeah.
You
You
know?
know, during our time, Generation
Yes,
X. are we
Generation X.
Okay, during the Generation X, we are used to, when we
Corporal
make a
punishment,
problem,
diba?
for
Right.
punishment, sometimes pinapalo tayo ng
Yes.
parents natin. But now during the Generation
Z.
Z is not like that.
It's not like
so
that
how do you correlate that? But we come out with a very good citizen, citizen of the
Yes.
Philippines.
Yeah.
That pinapalo tayo,
Yeah.
pero okay naman. But ngayon hindi na ganoon. Sabi mo nga,
Yes.
hindi,
But,
it's a hug ang kailangan bigyan. So how
Correct.
do you compare that? What do you think will be their future of somebody na hindi mo lang nakatikim ng palo sa puwet?
I would. Our generation was
Yeah.
very different.
Yeah,
We didn't have
exactly.
social media back then to post anything that our
Yeah.
parents
Oh,
would
yeah,
do
exactly,
to us.
exactly.
We were born at that time. We were born and raised to have a sense of resilience. We were more resilient, I think. We were more tolerant of discipline
Tolerant,
and
yeah.
authority. But nowadays, that's no longer possible. I mean,
Oh.
really, kids nowadays, they've got access to Twitter, to Instagram, to whatever, to
Yeah.
Facebook,
Information
where they
is
can
just
just
right there.
post, my mom is whatever,
Yeah.
and that's gonna just spiral down, and it's just going to cause more harm both to the parents and to the child.
Right.
So it's very different.
Going back again to, because in this generation is a very informative generation. When
Yes.
you want to ask something, you just ask Siri, or if
Yeah, in a
you go
click
to
of
you
your
go-
finger.
you go to
Exactly.
Google,
Yeah.
and of course there's some information that is not good
Yes.
for our children.
So how can you filter them?
Yeah, how can you filter them? How can you just do it in the computer na, hindi pwede tayo doon sa
Right.
mga porno, yung mga ganyan.
Right.
And of course, you have to say that to your children.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're not, sabi mo, you're not 24/7 na nakamonitor sa
Exactly.
anak
Exactly.
natin. So how do you control
Manage that. Okay, thank you. Well,
Yeah, especially with Tinette, because she studied in Oxford.
Yeah.
So how was
I
your
was
relationship? How
Yeah,
can you
even
control?
us, when you go for vacation or you have a convention outside the
Right.
country, and of course your children will be
Live
left alone and
Yeah.
on his
Right.
room. Now, how can you filter that?
Okay.
Yung mga site na hindi pwede sa anak
Yeah.
natin.
How can you monitor your
okay,
children?
right. Okay. Well, this might I'm not sure if most parents would agree with me
This
on
is
this.
realistic,
Yeah, but
nangyayari to
I'm
ngayon.
actually just being realistic about things. I talked to Sofia about everything.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I open her eyes to reality that most teenagers do nowadays. I tell her everything that's happening, crimes,
Yeah.
sexual abuse,
really?
politics.
Kasi minsan ang hirap
You can't-
i-open eh. Ang hirap,
Yes,
you paano
can't.
mo i-open yung
No.
gantong topic,
Well,
parang hindi pang young children.
Actually, Doc,
Probably
to
you
be
can
honest,
start.
Yeah.
At what
With that-
age? Yeah, at what
Yeah.
age pa? Oo.
Meaning you should start early, no?
You should
I
start
think
early.
the television can
Yeah.
also be a very good influence.
Right.
I think parents should ask their children to watch yung mga crime show
Yeah, exactly.
and then discuss it with them.
Correct.
Basta wala
I
lang
agree.
masyadong
Yeah.
super
Exactly. Alam mo,
violence.
this is one experience that I had. My son wants to be a pilot. Sabi ko, no, mag-doctor ka. No, Dad, I want to be a pilot. I want to fly an aircraft. Eh di, sige. One time, pinapanood ko siya ng isang station all about plane crash. After that, nagbago, ayoko na dad mag-pilot. Gusto ko, doctor na lang. Things like that. Example na gano'n.
Oh, yeah.
So, in our case, like for example, for children, sabi nga natin, at what particular age we're supposed to open up everything? Because sometimes, minsan sabihin, Dad, meron bang ganon? Meron bang ganyan? They always ask that.
In my case, I remember Sofia was a very inquisitive child.
Okay.
You know, when she was about 4, 5, or 6.
Until 7 yan.
Until
Oh,
7, yes.
until
Before
seven.
she reached the age of 7, she would ask me a lot of questions. So at that age, I would only give her information that are interesting to her. So anything that she
Okay.
asks me, I tell her the real deal.
That's a good
I
one.
never try to sugarcoat anything,
Right.
but of course I try to be as neutral and as how to say. I try not to be biased about anything because I want her to learn to have her own opinion on things. But now that she's 14, it's very different. I actually just let's say we're watching TV or we're traveling together and we see something that's really quite shocking or not nice.
Yeah, right.
Then I tell her. I tell her and I try to ask her, what do you think of this? And then I'll see what her insights are, and then I'll try to give
You
my
know,
insights
children
as well.
are just like my son, Justin. Children are just like always ask about that, but sometimes nini-neglect natin eh. Minsan, dinedeviate natin yung concentration niya. Minsan, we don't even say the right meaning of that particular incident. So, sabi mo nga, we have to tell
We
that.
have to tell them the truth
Yeah.
because at some point they're going to discover it themselves,
Yeah.
maybe through friends
Yeah.
or a TV show or whatever. So
Exactly.
for
And
me,
it's
Oo,
a lot better for the mom to explain
exactly.
everything.
For me, I don't. I mean, I know I have a lot of friends and relatives who try to protect their children from these realities, and then all of a sudden, when something shocking happens and the child discovers it, it's a mess. It's a terrible mess.
Just like when we were watching TV, pag meron scene na nagkikissing,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
ano mo ginagawa ng
Tinatakpan
son ko?
yung mata.
Tinatakpan niyo.
I never did that to Sofia.
Is that the
Never.
right thing to do?
No.
O manood ka, anak.
No.
Okay,
I never-
educational yan.
I never did that.
That was the best thing
Yeah,
to do.
this is
you
the
know.
this is the funny part, Doc, because I never did that to Sofia.
Yeah.
I remember one time, so there was this TV show, and of
Yeah.
course these scenes started to come
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
And the first thing that she did was to look at me.
Oh!
Yeah, she looked at
Yeah,
me because as if saying,
Am I allowed?
"What should I do, Mom?" And you know what I did? I just looked at the television set and I just ignored. I ignored her.
Uh-huh.
And then after that, her curiosity just went down.
Okay.
Because now she's no longer curious about these things.
Yeah.
I mean, again, this might shock some parents, but for me, I've seen some children who, I mean, parents would cover their eyes during
Yeah.
these
Exactly,
scenes.
yeah.
But then when the parents are not around, the
they
children
would-
are all looking.
they would
"What-
become more
what's
curious,
mom trying to
diba?
hide me from? You
Yeah.
know, what's mom
Yeah.
trying to hide? And then they start watching their own,
On their
the
own,
TV
yeah.
shows,
Right.
and then they start enjoying it with their friends. And this is what I'm really, really totally against. I
That's
want
true.
So they become more curious
They
talaga.
become more curious. They become more malicious about it. I mean, for me, when Sofia sees it, she'll just say, "Am I allowed?" I said, "Well, they obviously love each other." I don't make her watch really, terrible
Yeah.
movies. But if it's just a sign of love, I just try to show her that obviously that couple loves each other.
Yeah,
So-
later on we'll be on our next segment. We will be meeting the person, Sophia,
Yes.
The daughter.
and the daughter.
The beautiful
The
daughter
beautiful
of Tinette.
daughter. I was surprised when I met her today.
Equally beautiful.
She's only like 14 years
She's
old. I thought she was
14.
it's like 20.
Yeah,
and
she's-
then she's
She's
good
very
build,
tall. She's
very
tall. She's 5'5" at
Yeah.
14.
And we will
so-
be meeting Sophia later on when What's Up Doc returns. Yes, and we're back here in What's Up, of course. Together with me is my beautiful co-host, Attorney Cynthia Bajamunde.
Salamat dyan.
Yeah.
Anyway, we
How about
have...
me? You don't have any compliment? Kasi Mother's love
Happy
tayo.
Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Yeah, because it's your day.
Of course,
so
Brad kita. We have a mutual admiration. di
later
ba?
on, my wife Joanne will be going with her friends who are also mothers. I mean, not friends but also classmates.
Oo.
I hope
Day
she's
off,
watching
day
now.
off ng mga nanay.
My wife is watching. I hope.
Hello, Joanne. Hello, Joanne.
Yes. And,
Anyway, we have another guest for
yes,
today.
of course.
We have here a
beautiful
very
guest.
beautiful lady, a young lady. Her name is Sofia. She's 14 years old and a consistent A student, okay?
She's
Yeah.
Good
She has also
afternoon.
been working
Oh,
or
helping
helping
her
her
mom.
mom in ConsultAsia. I have seen some
Every
videos
summer.
of her, yeah,
So
every
during
summer.
summertime. So you're helping your mom ngayon. Ito yung summertime.
So
Yes.
she is the daughter the only child of Tinette.
Tinette, yes, our guest. Thank you and welcome, Sofia, to
Thank
What's Up
you.
Door.
Thank you.
Yes, Sofia, is your mom a hard mother or what do you think about your
A
mom?
difficult mom.
Difficult mother. What do you
A
think about
strict
your
mom.
Yeah.
I think my mom, she's very like balanced. I think she's
Balanced.
strict at a certain like to a certain extent, but at the same time she's very affectionate towards me, and
Oh.
so I feel like yes, she's very she's both. She's not too strict and she's not naman too lenient with me.
How do you found her? I mean,
How do you find?
yeah. I mean, as a child, and tomorrow it's her day. No, how do you found your mom that disciplining you in regard to your, of course, because of the age gap. You know, she's
Yes.
On her teens. I mean, you're
Of
on
course,
her
may
teens.
age gap. Anak yan eh. Oo.
I mean, how do you adjust? How do you convey with your mom regarding a mother and child relationship?
For me, I think personally, it's really easy because my mom, even if she's 40 plus already, we can
Binisto.
we can easily connect with each other, and for me, it's easy to open up to her about anything, my friends, social media, and we can relate. We're like sisters, actually.
Oh,
like
that's
when
important,
we
yeah.
meet other people,
Okay.
they think no, we're sisters.
So,
Yeah.
what are the qualities of your mom that you really like?
For me, for my mom, she's very loving, of course. As a
Loving.
mom, she makes sure that she has time for me. She's always there to support me through anything, good or bad. She's very hardworking, especially.
I could tell.
Yes, like in her work, she works really hard, and she's very compassionate as well.
Okay. Ito, you have to say the truth, ha? What are the things naman, or what are the qualities of your mom you dislike, you abhor,
You don't want
hate?
something like no, not really hate naman, but hindi
You're
lang
having
gusto.
difficulties dealing with
Yeah,
her.
dealing with her. Yeah.
Tell the truth.
That's so hard.
That's so hard. Do
Or else you would-
do you want us to bring her out first, or what?
Or else your budget mababa. Yung sweldo mo. Sige, go ahead, Sofia.
Wait, I'm not sure.
You're not
Wait.
sure.
You're
It's
not ready
hard.
for it?
It's hard to think of a.
Because she's a perfect mom
So,
for you.
ito na lang. So, to make things easier, what are the things or the issues that you commonly quarrel with your mom?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. For me, I think it's in terms of like responsibilities or duties. Like we have different priorities. For example, for me, on a normal basis, I do schoolwork first or I do my homework first. But for my mom, she thinks that I should do household chores first. And so sometimes, when my mom tells me, okay, you should do this and that, and then I'm like, wait, mama, I still have to do this and that. So
Yeah,
sometimes
that's true.
we argue a little bit.
So how ganyan talaga ang mother eh. Very yung insisting, kailangan dinidictate niya yung anak niya. I mean, is that the right thing to do?
I think it's very common
Yeah.
between mothers and their children to have little arguments. Like
Okay.
in my case with Sofia, as she mentioned earlier, we argue a lot about chores because for me, even if whether you have maids or not at home, I think it's important that we have our own responsibilities at home, no matter how small the task is, whether it be washing the dishes or sweeping the floor, whatever. I think it's important to have that sense of
So
responsibility.
at what age when you started teaching her? Kasi yung mga bata
Yeah.
pagka gigising ng tanghali,
Yes.
especially summer. Tapos pagkagising, na yung iPhone. Ayun na yung style, ha? Minsan 1 hour doon. And then, sabi mo, mag-breakfast ka na or minsan lunch na, hindi na nag-breakfast. So, how do you, yun ang style ngayon ng mga teenager, lahat ng siguro from age 4 to this age, same routine waking up, get your phone, ano yung message sa Facebook, sa Instagram, pagka sa mamaya, hagin na ng mother, Sofia, mag-lunch ka na, or mag-breakfast ka na. Minsan, later mom, right?
Yeah.
Ganun palagi. My son is also like that. He's also 8 years old. So how do you manage of doing that? Plus, in spite of that, she is on the A.
She excels in
She excels in school. I mean,
So, talagang kailangan sobrang galing ng nanay, di
oo,
ba?
sobrang galing. Oo.
I think I'll allow Sofia to answer that first,
Yeah.
and then I can give my
Sige,
inputs
sige,
after.
Sofia.
So how do you stay on top of the game? I
Yeah,
mean, like,
in
how
spite
do you
of.
stay like an
In
A
spite of the
student, in spite of
distractions
all the
right now,
distractions?
the social media, all the
Yeah.
gadgets.
Yeah.
For me, I think I know my priorities, but of course, honestly, I also, use social media as a way to relax or escape from
Exactly.
school. But then, for me, I think I'm very passionate about learning and school. And so if you really put your heart into it and your mind, you won't be defocused for as long as you know that school is your priority. But at the same time, it's also good that you relax and enjoy. So I try my best to
That's very
balance,
important.
yes, both.
Priorities, no?
And just to add to that, Sophia's very focused, as she said. No, when she studies, she studies. But when she goes to her social media, she forgets about everything. And this is fine. For me,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
encourage that because
Yeah.
you can't be doing schoolwork and at the same time texting your friends.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
oo.
true.
But also, I also tell her that when you're relaxing, please don't worry about school. Just allow the brain to relax.
But children right now are doing multitask things, no? That
Yes.
really enjoys them, di ba?
Yeah.
Halimbawa, they text, they do social media, they watch TV all at the same time.
Yes,
They're
but
so busy
And
with so
sometimes
many
during
things.
lunch or dinner, yung iPad, that's
I know this is a big no-no
It's a
for
no-no,
us.
right?
In our own home, no gadgets, no iPads, no phones at on the dinner table.
Okay, that's very
I would
good.
never tolerate
Justin,
that.
take note
I
of
would
that.
never tolerate that. Since she was young,
Yeah.
she couldn't do anything on the dinner table except to eat,
To eat.
and to communicate with family.
That's
This is
Minsan
the
kasi
most
pati
important
yung mga
thing.
parents are doing
Oh,
the
yes,
same
and-
thing.
Because they saw it sa parents nila.
Yeah,
eh.
and even Sofia, when she was young, di ba uso ngayon yung, well, hindi uso, but it's very common these days na sinusubuan pa yung mga bata. Like, sometimes 8 years old na, sinusubuan pa.
But I think it's not the mother who does that, it's the yaya.
No, but it's we see them around in restaurants or in other people's homes.
Right.
It's the parents
the
na
parents,
sinusubuan.
that's true, that's
And for me, my take on that, when Sofia was very young, she would feed herself. And that's teaching them self-reliance and respect for people around you. I mean, like, susubuan ka sa harap and you're 8 years old, 10
Actually,
years old.
there are some
So-
parents who does that, no? But
Yeah,
not really
a lot.
to spoil the children.
Yeah.
Para lang mapabilis yung kain minsan eh.
Yes,
Diba?
but yes, I agree with you, Cynthia, but attorney. But then with Sofia before, pag hindi siya kumakain, then she will have to suffer the consequences. So
Yeah.
after that dinner or whatever, magugutom siya.
Correct.
And then sasabihin ko sa kanya, well, that's because you didn't eat
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah,
So
that's,
then she starts
let's,
learning.
I want to
Yeah.
put some emphasis on that because there's some children who really doesn't want to eat, doesn't have any appetite during lunch or during dinner. So how do you manage that?
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll speak for Sofia when she was very young, but
Yeah.
now maybe she can talk,
Yeah,
about
yeah.
her
Okay.
teenage life. But when she was younger and she wouldn't eat, that's fine with me. But for as long as she's seated there with us.
Okay.
If she
okay.
doesn't want to eat because she's not hungry or maybe she doesn't like the food, I'm not
Yeah.
gonna force her.
Okay.
But please, Sofia, just be with us. Sit there. So she sat there,
Okay.
not eating, but she knows in her head that that time is for family.
Lunch
Yeah,
time
this is
and
really
family bonding
yeah.
time.
But now, as a teenager,
So
I think,
what if she doesn't eat? So when she
I make sure that there's always food. Like if she
Okay.
gets hungry in the middle of the night and she
Okay.
starts
I think,
crying, then
I think Tinette is correct. Let your children feel yung hunger
Okay.
para they will know ano yung feeling when you're hungry.
That's true.
Of course, pag masakit na ang ulo niyan, masakit na ang tiyan, when they're very hungry, they will ask for food. Now, alam na, pag bata kasi, that's common kasi playful. So, they talagang secondary na lang yung pagkain. But let them feel hunger, di ba?
That's true.
Let them suffer the
It's a good
consequences of...
discipline.
and then the next time they sit there and they don't eat, they're gonna think, oh my God, I'm going to get hungry later, so I better
Oh,
eat something
Yeah,
while we're
yeah.
here. So,
My son is like that. Ang son ko ng problema, palagi sumasakit ang tiyan. She always get hungry. He always get hungry.
May
And-
stages yata yan So,
Yeah.
yung bata playful, then magiging normal na naman yan si Justin.
Exactly. Oo. Pero he eats a lot now. He eats a lot
He's
now.
growing up now.
Yeah.
and I think television, iPads, these serve as big distractions kasi for meals eh. So ako, I really make sure that when we're eating, no TV, even if, some homes, they have a television set in the dining room.
Right.
No, kami, we don't have access to TV in the dining room.
Ngayon nga, alam mo, nakita ko yung mga
Because we want to
bata, they
communicate.
don't watch television that much.
Yes.
Not just like during our time.
Right, because they have
Because
phones
they
and
just watch
yeah.
it on YouTube.
Because everything
Exactly.
is online.
Everything
Correct.
is online.
Correct.
What do you think will be the future? Right now, of course, right now, our generation, the children watch movie
Yeah.
or whatever they want to watch or whatever they want to learn, they watch it on the tablet or
Yeah.
in iPhone. Now, what do you think will be the future of the next generation regarding
No.
this
Their
social media?
future. Their future.
Their
Kasi
future.
I noticed, no, I read somewhere, no?
Yeah.
The children now, parang everything is easy for them. In a click
Yeah,
of their finger,
exactly.
it's easy.
That's
So when they grow up and encounter some troubles or problems, they can easily give up.
Correct.
Kasi their frustration tolerance is no longer that high.
Exactly. That's
So
very
true.
low.
children now should be really disciplined regarding those. Kasi ang dali na ngayon, every time you want to research,
Just one click.
it's easy. Not
Noon
unlike
tayo, bibiyahe ka
True.
pa, punta ka pa
library.
national library.
Punta kang library,
Yeah,
makikipagagawan
exactly.
ka sa library and everything. But now, in a click of a finger,
Yeah.
nandun lahat.
Yeah, but-
Pag nga may tanong ka, i-google mo.
How do you adjust with the technology and being a mother?
Yeah. Well, for this, it's easy for me because, like, in Sophia's case, the environment that she's in school, in her extracurricular activities, the kids have really the highest or the most advanced gadgets, all right?
Yes, yes.
But I wouldn't give her the most
And
advanced
they
gadgets.
learn faster than
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
But must have to give the credit to Sofia here because she's never asked for anything. She's never asked me to buy her a Mac or whatever. So for example, I gave her a very low-end laptop for her to do her research in. Like she can use that laptop to do her homework. But my thinking is, how come she's still getting A's, straight A's, with an old laptop?
Now let's go
That's
to
not even branded.
getting A's.
Yeah.
Sophia, what's your secret? Secret of being there on the group of the A group?
Well, siguro naman first from the genes. You get
Other
your
than-
intelligence from your mom, remember?
Other than the jeans, other have a short jeans or long jeans.
Doc, would you agree with us? Di ba ang intelligence from the mom?
Yeah,
Yes, I
pwede.
agree.
Sige. Baka
100%.
magalit mo yung mga father, ha? Sige, sige, nyo naman yun. Let's hear from Sophia.
For me, first of all, I think it's very important that you love what you do because
You love what
you do,
first.
yes. First,
Okay.
that's the most important thing because if you think that school is hard, I don't want to study, and this is just my obligation to study, then your attitude towards it won't be very positive. So for me, I always channel my mind that yes, even if it's hard, I love what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
And then second thing is to take notes. I always take notes in class, and I make sure that I understand everything that I write. So like, I use arrows like that, and I ask questions because if there's something that I don't understand, my mom would always tell me, to ask questions because that's how you're gonna fully understand the lesson. Because
That's true.
yeah, so I don't leave the classroom the class without making sure that I understand the lesson.
Oh, that's a nice tip, huh? I mean, remember, kayo mga who wants to be an A group, take the advice of Sophia here. First is that you have to love what you're doing. Two is that you have to be in it, embrace it, right? Embrace it. Take down your notes, and don't leave the class without understanding the lesson
Yes
for the
po.
day.
And what is good about Sophia is because at her age, she knows her priority already. No, that's very seldom.
That's very
yeah.
important. How do you paano mo tinuro yun? Kasi ako, minsan tayong matatanda, hindi naman mga Generation X, hirap din, again, sa how to prioritize.
Okay, again, okay. Sophia has always been my priority in my life, and she knows that. And I think she would also say the same thing, that I'm her priority. And then I set the examples for her. Like, I don't, for example, I think the reason why she loves to study is also because she's seen me, how I love my work, and how I love to learn as well. And how I love studying.
I believe in that because my son, Jancen,
Yeah.
as I've told before, he wants to be a pilot. Now, sinasama ko siya sa clinic. Kung pwede,
Yeah,
isama ko siya. Sabi nga niya, pwede pa
Yan,
manood
yan,
ako
yan.
ng surgery mo. Now he wants to be a doctor naman.
No, yun nga ang tanong ko, no? How can you make your children
Yeah, yeah.
love what you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Halimbawa, you're a lawyer, katulad ko.
Yes.
I want my child to be a lawyer also. How do you do that?
Yeah.
Well-
Para yung future career nila, ando nakapokus na rin.
Do you like Sofia ba to be like you in the future?
No.
Ah, no,
I
really?
don't expect her to be like me. I expect her to be the best that she can be.
Oh,
So
that'd
if
be
she wants to
nice.
be a doctor, if she wants to be a lawyer, if she wants to become a Broadway or a West End theater actress, I will support her. For as
Yeah.
long as she's not going to be a criminal or then
She's a
I'm
good
fine with it.
citizen,
Yes.
Pero ako, I believe that if your mom or your dad are good professional,
Yes.
they become your idols. Eh.
Yes, yes.
So
I
you
agree.
want to
Idolize
be like
them.
them, di ba?
Correct.
Right,
Katulad ko, both my parents are
Yes.
lawyers. No?
Yes, yes.
And my nanny would bring me to her office sa Husgado,
Yeah.
and my tatay would bring me to military course. So I see, I
Correct.
was witnessing their job.
Right,
Yes.
And I happen to like it.
Right,
But
right. How do you influence?
both Tinette and I are graduate of clinical psychology.
Oh.
Kaya tayo nagkakilala.
Sa
I was
FEU.
pre-med, no?
Oo.
But then, nung sinabi ng nanay ko, mas magaling kang abogada kasi mas madaldal ka. Di ba? So I followed my mother. Sabi ko, oo nga, nay.
Right.
Oo nga. Sabi
Right.
ko, di ba? Yung,
Yeah.
you listen more to your mother. Actually.
Now,
Yes.
this is a question. Okay, for both of you, which is harder to take care of a daughter or to take care of a son?
Harder ang bata, ang lalaki. Of
Bakit?
course. Oo.
Bakit? Oh,
I cannot answer that question because I've never had a son.
experience, yeah.
But with me, I think whether it's a son or a daughter, if the child is really stubborn, it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
So it's more of the behavior.
It's the behavior. I wouldn't.
Either it's a
Maybe
son or a
si
a
attorney
daughter.
would and
How
I
about
would
you,
have
attorney?
different opinions on
There
this.
are qualities
What's
of
the name of your son? Hi, Ren.
he's in a camp right now. No? He's very active with his religious activities. No?
Oh, yeah.
So he's with a company of Bo Sanchez.
Yeah, you know what?
They're now in Cebu.
When I met his son together sa Japan, sama din namin. He's a very religious person.
Yeah, he's a
Bihira
very
ako makakita ng at that age a very religious person.
Kasi that's my aim, to engage him into church and sports. And of course, the studies. I was a hands-on mom. Since he was very, very young, I was his tutor.
Oh.
Kasi I believe, I don't know, you're a clinical psychology graduate also, from age 1, from infanthood to age 9, lahat na-absorb ng bata.
Okay.
Kahit ituro mo ang preamble, ang buong constitution, they can easily absorb. Because their
Talaga.
mind is still,
Open
tabula
pa.
rasa, walang laman.
Oo.
Tabula
Oo,
rasa,
tabula rasa.
walang laman. So you put everything there. You instill good values, nandun na lahat.
Talaga?
Lahat, doon ilagay mo. Kasi after 9, that is the age of discretion. That is also in accordance with the law. Age of discretion is 9. They know what is bad and not bad anymore, good and bad.
Okay.
Pero before 9, lahat yan, ang sinabi ng nanay, yun lang ang gagawin.
Ang galing, ha?
Oo.
Ay, pag sinabi ng tatay.
Okay ang nanay. Mother's Day, it's Mother's
Mother's
Day.
Day, anyway.
Kami lang yung bida. Oo.
To your question, how can you actually influence your child to become like you?
Yeah.
My answer to that is you can't. You can't. For me, again, my style with Sofia is I instilled in her the good values like integrity, compassion,
Very nice.
hard work, respect for others. These are the values that I instilled in her. And then I taught her how to make decisions for herself.
Oh,
Whether
thank you.
smaller decisions.
Yes, oh.
As with regard to her career choice, that's really her thing. All I can do is to
Yes,
guide
it's
her
true, it's true.
and to support her.
Yeah.
Of course, if she tells me na, Mama, I want to be a drug lord, well,
alam mo
excuse me,
yung
you can't.
daughter ko, my eldest daughter, she's already a doctor, and I can say na I'm a big influence on her.
Yeah.
By the way, thank you very much because we have only a few minutes left.
So,
Let's hear a word from Sofia.
yeah, for her mom.
For her mom, yeah.
And to all the moms out
yeah,
there.
For all the moms in the whole world. Yeah.
Sabihin mo na lahat ng gusto mo ngayon.
The good and the bad. Just kidding. Okay, Sofia.
First, to my mom, thank you very much, for
Aw.
everything. And I feel like the person who I am today was because
Right.
of you. Like, who I am today was, everything I learned, values and knowledge, everything. It's all from you. And yes, you really inspire me to become a better person and someone who can hopefully inspire others. And to all the moms out there, I just want to say that you are all amazing because your children love you very much, and we thank you for your sacrifices for us, and we hope that you're gonna enjoy Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. Well said. Yes, Tinette.
All I can say is, well, first, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. And just always remember that it's never too late to make your children feel loved, because more than money, more than material things, more than fame, power, or whatever, it's still your love that will matter the most to your child. So thank you very much, and I love you, sweetheart. Love you so much.
Well said. Yes, attorney?
Okay, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in the world, especially to my nanay, no, who's now in heaven. Happy Mother's Day, Nay. I love you so much. And to all the mothers, I want you to enjoy motherhood. Motherhood is the greatest job on earth, okay? And we create good citizens. We are the one creating good citizens of this world. So just enjoy your job as a mom and enjoy your children as well, okay?
Yes.
So be a role model to your children and be your friend. Be their friend, okay? You talk to them, be their friend, barkada talaga. So that's my advice to all the moms, and I thank you. I would like to thank all the moms in the world for bringing all these children also. So, Dr. Jan, happy
Yes.
Mother's Day to Joanne, at
Yes.
you.
Thank you very much. And
Thank you so
Sophia,
much. Thank
happy
you so
Mother's Day,
much.
Tinette, and happy Mother's Day to Attorney Bajamunde. Of course, happy Mother's Day to
To
my
all.
wife, Joanne, and all the mothers all over the world, regardless, sabi nga, motherhood or mother. Okay, and of course, thank you very much to our guests, and you can text us at 0925-850-815 still, and tomorrow this show will be replayed at 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, Channel 1 Destiny Cable, Channel 8 Destiny Cable, Channel 1 GSAT, and Channel 213 on the Sky Cable, I think Channel 35 or Channel 45 on TV Plus. And you can log on at www.jancencosmeticsurgery.com. We have an Instagram and Facebook account, and you can call us 521-1444 for Manila branch of Jancen Cosmetic Surgery, and also, of course, our Angeles branch under the service of Dr. Buddy Kililan. And Sofia, thank you very much for guesting.
Thank you very
Tinette,
much.
Thank you
Happy
so
Mother's
much.
Day.
Happy Mother's Day,
Attorney
attorney. Thank
Bajamunde,
you.
and this is Dr. John Cenica for another episode of What's Up, Doc?